Hello, Junior 6. Today we are going to talk about the main structure of the plant cell and what makes the plant cell differs from the animal cell. As we said before that both cells can contain cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus, and organelles. Plant cell and animal cell, they are have things in common and there are some structure which is different from each other. Like first, the cell wall. Cell wall, it's a substance that is surrounded the cell and it is made up of cellulose. It's a hard material. It's above the cell membrane. Its function is to keep the plant cell has a definite shape. So that's why the animal cell doesn't have a definite shape, as it doesn't contain or have a cell wall. In animal cell, we have organelle called vacuoles. It's a small vacuoles and more than one in the animal cell. But in case of the plant cell, we have a sap vacuole, one sap vacuole. It's only one and it's a big one. It's a large sac known as sap vacuole. So the function of the sap vacuole and the vacuoles in the animal cell both have the same function, which is storing the nutrients, water, and waste materials inside the plant cell. There is an organelle called the chloroplast, which has a green color. It's a green granule and they have a green pigment, which is called the chlorophyll. Its function is to absorb the sunlight for the plant to make its own food by the photosynthesis process. So that's why the plant can make the photosynthesis process as it contains the chlorophyll which is inside the chloroplast. The animal cell has many small vacuoles which its function is similar to the sap vacuole in the plant, storing water, nutrients, and waste materials. An animal cell doesn't have a definite shape as it doesn't contain the cell wall. The animals keeps their structure by two things. Some animals like bones has bones like cats, dogs, and humans, and others have a hard shell-like cover body. It's called exoskeleton, like the insects. Their skeleton is hard shell-like cover. If we're gonna make a model about the plant cell and an animal cell, we're gonna say that everything in this model or every block in this model will be represented or will be represented to a structure in the cell. So if you are going to make a model about the cell wall, we are going to make a power brick wall, nucleus like the city hall here in the picture. As you can see, the nucleus is in the middle, located at the center of the city. So that's the nucleus. The bricks is for the cell wall. Construction guards or workers, it's like the endoplasmic reticulum. The endoplasmic reticulum for the construction workers. Chloroplast, as the chloroplast function is to make the food, so chloroplast will act as a food factory. Cell wall, stone wall surrounded the cell, like the cell wall in the plant which surround the cell. Electric power station is for the mitochondria. It's called the powerhouse. And the cell membrane is like the guards. So this is how we're gonna represent the two cells with the blocks and with the model to show the structure of the plant cell and the animal cell. These two structures in the plant, it's not found in animal, which are the stone wall surrounds the city, which is represented for the cell wall, and the food factory that represents the chloroplast. This is the main difference between these two. Careers and the cell biologist. As the cell is a very tiny particle, which its size is 0.001 centimeter, the cell biologist use the microscope to magnify the cell to see them in a larger size. So every cell biologist is the man, or it's the scientist who uses the microscope to magnify the cell and to study the cell, make it bigger or larger in the size by using the microscope. Cell biologists, we can see them in the laboratories to do the experiment to study how the cell work inside the living organisms and how the cell respond to the different variables like the medicine. They will see the function or the response of the cell to the different variables like different medicines. Cell biologists analyze data and present their conclusion to the other researchers, where subcell biologists work with the doctors to watch how the cell can work or to repair the body parts, or how cells respond to the different medicines. Some other cell biologists work in agriculture to study how the plant cells respond to the different environmental factors. Staining cells. Most of the cells are usually colorless, so we use some dyes, which is called stains, to make the cell more visible and the cell structure more visible when we use the microscope. There are many types of stain used to make the highlight part more visible, such as methylene blue dye, which is used to see the nucleus as the blue area in the sample, as you can see here in the picture. Cells in 3D. Scientists build a microscope that shows the cell in 3D, which means that they can see the top, the sides, and the layers of the cell, where the 3D microscope takes pictures of the cell in the layers. Then the computer puts these layers together. Finally, colors are added to the formed images. So it's about layers and how the computer will collect these layers of pictures and put it together to make the full image. The 3D microscope can help the cell biologist and also can help the doctors, can help the cell biologist to learn more about the cell components and how the cells divided. Doctors to treat cancer, which is caused by cells and is divided too quickly. So when we want to study the cancer and we want to make a research about the cancer in a human's body, we use the 3D microscope. And that's it for today.